Good evening, my friends. Welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk About the League. If you are missing the beautiful Southern accent of Commissioner Sig, it is because, unfortunately, he is not able to be with us tonight, attending a very important family matter. But I'm Jeff, and I'm here joined by two very, very helpful guests filling in at the last second, Slack and Spicy Hot Meme. How you guys doing tonight?
Dude, I'm doing great. I'm doing
Yeah,
fantastic right now.
good. Happy to have you. How about you, Spicy?
Pretty good so far.
Good to hear. Good to hear. So, in case your memories are lacking, it has been about a week and a half since the LCUS has done anything, but the regular season wrapped up March 10th, 2 Sundays ago. Option 12, Team Phoenix, Northern Storm, and White Wolf Gaming claiming the top 4 spots in the standings, which means they will be in the playoffs coming up this Sunday. Option 12, the top seed, facing off against White Wolf Gaming, and Phoenix, the second seed, against Northern Storm. So I guess just to start off, I want to get both of your opinions on the sets that we watched 2 Sundays ago, if your memories can go back that far. We had Phoenix against White Wolf. Slack, I know you're a big supporter or believer, at least, in Team Phoenix. What did you think about this series?
Yeah. I loved it. I thought both teams did fantastic. Now, all I can say is I'm extremely pleased with how White Wolf performed. I mean, 2-0ing Phoenix, that's not an easy task. We've seen Phoenix do some incredible things to other teams. And going into it, I was like, yes, we're going to see just, a stomp. And going into it, I was like, all right, I'm going to see either a 1-1 if White Wolf pulls the miracle or a 2-0 in Phoenix. And it went completely the other way on me.
Absolutely. Any thoughts, Spicy?
I'm gonna be honest. Watching those two games made me slightly question Phoenix a bit. It was sort of like it was more or less not on the terms of macro, but on the terms of just decision making. A lot of the times, just really weird calls throughout that entire both games, where White Wolf were able to somewhat punish and play around with that as well.
Mm-hmm. All right. I mean, I guess for me, I don't want to take anything away from White Wolf because I do think that they played well. Surprisingly well, even perhaps. But I said this in Let's Talk About the League, the episode leading up to that week, and I think watching those games, I casted those games. It felt sort of like I was correct in that I don't know how seriously Phoenix took that set. They were already locked into a top 2 seed. They didn't have the tiebreaker against option 12 by virtue of their head-to-head matchup earlier this season. So there wasn't much to gain for them and not much to lose. So it felt like they were playing a little loose, which I believe Slack alluded to. I mean, they seemed to bring out a couple of strange things. The Vayne mid, which looked fantastic until suddenly it looked pretty bad. So I'm not too concerned about Phoenix based off that series. But I do think that White Wolf played very well. I think they're looking good going into the playoffs. Following up on that series, we had option 12 against Blitzkrieg. I want to start with you this time, Spicy. Any particular thoughts? Anything jump out at you from this 2-0 by option 12?
To be honest, not really. It was sort of like that set where it's like, well, option 12 should 2-0 Blitzkrieg. I really feel like with the Blitzkrieg or these two games, I felt like Chop Suey could have played to the top side more. I do know it sounds a little bit cliche to play to that one guy that can carry everybody, but I feel like if you really tried to feed Stelio, he could 1v5 carry the game. And it just sort of felt like he was attempting to 1v5 carry the game, but was not fed enough to do so.
Mm-hmm. Okay. How about you, Slack? Any thoughts on this series?
Okay. All right.
A lot of thoughts. Oh boy. Here we go.
So let me bring up
difficulties there. Sorry about that. But we were in the middle of Slack commenting on option 12. I believe you were talking about Nico and Fat Lee, his potency.
Yeah. Okay. So let's get back onto the table here with that. First off, let me do a little sidetrack and just a head nod to last week. Would it not be just perfect if not just all 3 sets had technical difficulties, but also let's talk about League? Anyway, let's go back to the game. Fat Lee, just to give a quick summary of all of it, they threw him off with the Nico, and it worked. It worked really well. Fat Lee, I am beyond impressed with what you do. Week after week, you're bringing out crazy picks. A couple weeks back, you brought up Yasuo against 9 Lives, dominated them. There's no other words that come to mind other than domination. Outside of that, though, when I see option 12 playing against really any team, they play through Fat Lee, they get a lead, and then they're able to transfer that lead to the rest of their team off of their team getting picks, farming up, and just in general, they're just able to push for objectives. And Fat Lee is just such a high priority, not only to ban against, because he's playing mid lane champions in the bot lane, which is really confusing, but it's just so versatile. So it's really, really hard to go against him. But not even just that. Let's look in the jungle. Prowler. My man Prowler, holy crap, you are a monster in general. I'm loving it. Slippery P, bringing out tanks for days, and I like it. It's just, they're doing great, all in all. And
All right.
CB Hickey is helping Fat Lee help the rest of his team. And it's just, the entire team is so well rounded.
Yeah,
Not complaining.
Sure. All right, absolutely. So our last set 2 weeks ago was actually the only one between 2 teams, both fighting for a playoff spot, with Phoenix and Option 12 both having clinched going in. So added a little excitement to it. 9 Lives and Northern Storm. You want to start us off on this one, Spicy?
Well, being the winner of the 2-0, to be honest, these games, we just played the games as they were, just played the games as it was. And as I think Fan told you guys from the interview last time, it's like once we locked in, we're just like, cool. I guess it was cherry on top when we found out that it was 1,000 bits to the channel if we did win 2-0. So, hey, there you go. So that's about it.
Awesome. So, Slack, do you have any thoughts on this series? I believe you casted it, right?
Oh, yeah, I casted it. So, I just, a lot of in this game, there was also some unique picks. There was some things that, people were like, wait, is this going to work? Is this how it's going to go? Both teams drafted, in my opinion, to the best of their ability, to whatever their goals and what they were trying to do. They were drafting in that format. Northern Storm, I praise you for banning out Brihio's Zyra, because that is something to be feared. Sig mentioned that last let's talk about the league. So there's that. So you kind of snuffed out the support. That's really, really good. Not only that, but you also, Baconlicious did a really good job at shutting down Brandana.
Oh, just remember,
I believe there was a sub, actually. Yeah. But
oh yeah, that's right.
But I agree with you.
He was there.
I agree with you. Mustache was actually very, very impressive in that series, particularly on the Xerath in game 1.
Right. But I want to bring it up. I'm gonna switch sides here. I'm talking good about Northern Storm. Okay. Now, Spicy, I want to ask from a first person's perspective, how frustrating is it to have somebody like Great Beard of Odin play a champion like Ornn into somebody that he picked that champion into somebody he knew that he was more than likely going to lose lane, and he maintained both games at least a 5 or 10 CS lead throughout the entire game. How frustrating is that?
Oh, for my top lane to be behind the entire game?
Yeah.
Oh, he's just a scrub, man. Oh, I'm just kidding. There is a couple of I'm being a little bit tight-lipped here because I don't want to show strats or talk about my own process of thinking.
Right.
But to be honest, I am never too worried about my top laner, even though we do talk a lot and we do have our own grievances about how to play into certain matchups at X and Y and Z like that. What I have been trying to grow out is trying to develop different strats on Team Northern Storm in Season 3 and also playing him against when I was in White Wolf last split. I do get a little bit of how he plays a little bit more and how to play around it. So not too much worrying about it. It was more or less trying to pivot for a mid lane because it was a sub. So we were trying to play around to make sure our mid laner didn't fall super far behind, especially since it was Brandon in the mid lane.
Okay. Yeah. And so with that, I like that. and showing respect to Brandana. Yes, he had a tough time on Zed, but as we've seen, even in LEC, we saw Caps go really bad on Zed.
Brandana equals Caps. You heard it here first.
Right. Okay. So, but once again, with Greybeard of Odin, every single game that I have seen him play, I don't see him falling behind to a point where it's not like, oh, well, I mean, if he catches this wave, he's pretty much back in it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really weird to think that because he does such a good job. It is really impressive. So that's where I thought that 9 Lives did terrific in both games. In fact, throughout this entire season, it's just he's been doing good. So good job, 9 Lives on that. I'm sorry that you got 0-2'd. Not gonna lie. I put in prediction that you would 2-0, especially if you brought in the power of which was from the previous week in game 2. I made that statement, and I had to really bite the bullet there when you ended up going 0-2. So I'm sorry about that. But Northern Storm, congratulations on doing that because you guys needed to 2-0. And you guys stepped up and you knocked it out of the park. So when it comes to that game, quick summary, good job, Greybeard of Odin. You did terrific. And Spicy, you really did a good job maintaining the mid lane to make sure that Xerath, especially in game 1, oh my God, in game 1, really, really good. So yeah, It just all in all, it was a terrific set to watch.
Buys OP if you don't take Predator, guys. Just FYI. Nothing against you, LMZ. Just why did you take Predator, my man?
Very exciting.
I was
series.
Questioning it too.
I just want to add a couple quick thoughts here at the end. We already talked about Mustache being very, very impressive in the substitute role there. I also loved what Northern Storm did in terms of bringing out the Mordekaiser in game 1. That just sort of gives other teams something to think about moving forward. Anytime you can pull out sort of an unexpected pick, something that's relatively unique to your team, make the other teams prepare for it, spend time figuring out what to do against it. It could be very valuable, even if you never play it again. So I liked seeing that. I thought that Northern Storm did wonderful controlling the dragons in that game and really capitalizing, getting those ghost dragons, shoving down lanes. And game 2, overall, I was very impressed by WD Fan in this series. And I also thought in game 2, Amaya Chan, I believe Yorick has always been one of the staples there. Got it in game 2, and the split push pressure was just relentless. So very well played from Northern Storm. I think they're giving Team Phoenix something more to think about than they would have expected had they seen that they were matching up against them in the playoffs maybe 2-3 weeks ago. So, moving on now, guys. We've recapped the last week of the regular season. Before we get to talking about the actual playoffs coming up, I want to talk about patch 9.6. Some reasonable changes here. Nothing, at least to my eye, that looks like it's gonna change the meta or anything like that. But I mean, you guys are more experienced players than me. I'm gonna start with you, Spicy. What do you see as being the highlights, the most important things in this patch?
One sec.
No problem.
To be honest, patch 9.6 didn't impress me that much. A lot of different changes for, like, say, top lanes and some ADCs, or mostly different champions, but it didn't really affect my jungle picks, to be honest. I will be interested to see if anyone picks up what I believe is the sleeper OP at the moment, but we will see if they will ban out my sleeper OP, but we will find out. But I'm more interested to see how top lane plays out, considering most of the heavy changes do come to that top, to 3 of the 4 top laners that have become a little bit more prevalent.
And which ones are those? Just to get your
mostly the Urgot. I
Mhm.
feel like Urgot mid is becoming a little bit more of a flex because of the W to E change with the shield, and how they're trying to change it into a toggle, which is a little more interesting. The Ornn,
All right.
I don't know what to say about the Ornn, to be honest. I don't know if that's really a buff, especially with the buff to the cooldown buff to Paulo's Beth, so it's 12 to 10 instead of 12 at all ranks. But it's like, that's sort of how I feel about Ornn, and yeah, those are the two.
Okay. All right, Slack, I'm going to throw you a little bit of a slightly different question here. Are there any particular players or teams that you look at these patch notes and you see it helping or hurting?
Yeah. So okay, let me hit this part. Nico last patch got a mid-patch adjustment, and it was a pretty hefty one. Now at the beginning of 9.6, Nico ended up getting a weird, I want to say buff, but it's not really a buff. It's kind of a weird in between. It looks like a buff, but is a mid-patch adjustment, readjustment thing. So on hit Nico, will it still be a thing? Probably. There's not. I don't think it's going to die off as quickly as Riot would like it to. So sorry, Fatly. It overall is a nerf, but they buff the attack speed. So maybe if you want to pull it out, go for it, my dude. Try to show me up and see what happens. Now I'm gonna move up to the Ornn. Slippery P. I see you. I see you playing. I see you playing the Ornn. If 9 Lives was still in this, Ornn and Odin, hand in hand. So there's that. But as what Spicy just brought up as well is the Urgot. Now, I can see it being a buff for damage wise, making him a lot more of a bruiser. But I feel like how a lot of people have in their mindset is that he's a tank that does a little bit of damage. But they are completely going, tank? Nah. Let's take away his shield. Let's take away some of his resistances. Let's just put all of our dice in the damage bucket. And I don't know if that's going to work. I really don't. Outside of that, I don't really know if any other teams are really going to get hit too hard by this patch notes. It just, I'm going through them. It's like, sure, there's some here and there that look pretty good, but nothing that's going to make a huge difference where it's going to be a must ban, other than maybe the Urgot and the Ornn. Depends on how people are practicing it.
Sounds good. All right. So now we're going to get to this coming week, playoffs, the real March Madness, if you will. LCUS semifinals coming up. Option 12 against White Wolf will be our set one. We've heard quite a bit about Option 12. Very impressive throughout the split. They are the top seed. For me, I'm just going to start this off. I see Option 12 being just a more difficult team to match up with than pretty much any other team in the league. I think that they have different play styles they can go to. Slack, you talked about Fat Lee, how great he's been in the AD carry role. First split in that role. Even more impressive because of that. Prowler, throughout the season, I've expected him to be the most influential player in the league. He'll either be great and Option 12 will be great, or he'll be not so great and they could struggle. He's brought out some interesting picks. I mean, we've seen Master Yi jungle a lot. So they've given us a lot to think about. And I think that White Wolf, while they're playing pretty well, I think that Option 12 is just slightly stronger in terms of individual talent. And I think they've also shown that they have more options to go to in terms of team compositions and strategies, ways to win. So I have Option 12 in a close, but a 2-0 in this series. How about you, Spicy?
I will always root for my White Wolf gaming. I honestly think the matchup is to see which jungler actually shows up in pressure and objective rotation. You can see in both games a little bit of jungle problems where Arcane Soda will randomly dance around in front of the turret and kill himself, and then sometimes will also then also be able to pick up a triple kill. And then on the other hand, watching Prowler, it's sometimes he's really great and then randomly feeds 5 times in a row. And it's sort of like, well, if one of those people show up, their team will win. So it's really just who shows up jungle wise, because I do fully believe both teams are quite equal in terms of both their macro play and team fights. But I have it as a 2-1 for White Wolf, as a very close 2-1. But yeah, that's sort of my belief. It's to see which junglers actually show up when the games come. Because if the inting Prowler shows up, then, well, White Wolf should win the game. But if we have Arcane Soda dancing around in front of the turret for 30 seconds shows up, then maybe then it's going to be obvious that Option 12 wins.
All right. Any other thoughts from you, Slack? What are you thinking?
Okay. All right. I don't want to sound like a broken record, like, kind of taking up where you guys are, but okay. Yes, junglers. Prowler, Arcane Soda. That's going to be crazy. I'm excited. I hate to say it. Ace and Primeaton, I don't see that being a key lane that is going to sway a victory.
Well, we're talking about Option 12, so that wouldn't be Ace. Ace is on Team Phoenix.
Yeah, my bad.
Shaken? Yeah, sure.
And Primeaton. Yep. I don't see that being the biggest sway.
Mm-hmm.
Pointy Ball versus Fat Lee. That could be a big sway. I've seen Pointy Ball do some big numbers when it comes to AD carries, but we've also seen Fat Lee just kind of do what he wants. So there's that. Yeah, I'm gonna go 2-1, Option 12.
All right, sounds good. So I'm just gonna come right back to you, Slack, for our second set, Phoenix against Northern Storm. You said that I know that you've been quite confident in Phoenix before. You said that the last week of the regular season was a little strange from them. Do you see them bouncing back? Do you think that they'll be able to handle Spicy Hot Meme and his bros?
Yeah. So, oh boy, this is going to be a great matchup. Not even trying to say that because Spicy's in the lobby right now. We get mad at. It's going to be a great matchup. Do we know if Baconlicious is going to be there, or is Mustache coming in? Do we have a set answer for that?
Bacon should be our mid lane.
Okay. All right.
Unless he's randomly assassinated during the night, then we should be fine.
Okay. Well,
Don't give Phoenix any ideas, man.
Right. I don't know if Phoenix wants to do that because Mustache is kind of scary. I don't know if I would want to go up against either of those two mid laners, to be honest. They're both really, really good. And I'm going to stand by that. They're both fantastic. This one I feel is going to be the one that is going to be a very flip of the coin. And I know we already have our coin, or we're going to be doing coin predictions, but it's literally going to be a flip of a coin. It's going to be a 2-1. It's going to be hard to say as much as I don't want to say it because he's in the lobby. I'm going to say Phoenix over Northern Storm 2-1. That's where I'm putting my that's where I'm going to put my vote.
All right. Now for me, I agree with you, Slack. This is going to be a very close series. I think Northern Storm has looked great the last few weeks. And once again, I'm not really sure what to think about Phoenix's most recent week. I don't know if that was actually them or if they were just screwing around a little bit. But I do still think, I've said this multiple times throughout the split, I think that they are the best team fighting team in the league. I think that when you just watch their games, you see them be able to do things like juggle turret aggro, get in and out, play around their cooldowns extremely well. But in this most recent regular season week, Northern Storm looked great in team fights as well against 9 Lives. And Amaya Chan on that Yorick in game 2, really, really great split push pressure. So it'll be interesting to see if Northern Storm tries to go into sort of a game like that and pull Phoenix's team fighting potency apart, make them fight as not a 5-person unit. That being said, I do still think top to bottom, Phoenix is a very strong team. I'm excited to see the potential battle over Thresh because I think Chaos has been playing it very, very well. And Gregosaurus is very well known for his Thresh. So we'll see if that pick even gets through. And if so, if anyone's willing to first pick it. You don't often see support being first picked, but it could certainly happen here with both of these supports. I am going to agree with you, Slack. Sorry that we're ganging up on you, Spicy. I'm going to say 2-1 to Team Phoenix. And Spicy, I know you're probably abstaining in terms of actually making a prediction, but do you have any trash talk, anything you want to get out of your system?
Oh, I can easily do trash talk. That's fun.
Well, I mean, if you got anything, if you want to call anybody out, feel free. This is your time.
I mean, if they come next week with this week with no brains like they did 2 weeks ago, then it'll be an easy tool for us. Maybe Ace brings out the ace and then we can feed off him again. That's sort of how I felt when I watched that game. By the way, it was great for like about 15 minutes, and then your team just forgot how to play around your ADCs. So, but I will say that it will depend on which one of us as the two teams do show up. In a sense, I will always believe that my team will always be better than the other team because I'm obviously biased. So where's the bias in that? But I do think we have fixed, I think, our main issue when we got O2'd by Phoenix. So I don't think it will be that easy to be ran over this time. And so long as we are able to play to our conditions and sort of play to what we know what we have to fix, then we should be fine.
Awesome. All right. And a little late with this, but the coin is very, very bold. I would be very interested to see its March Madness bracket because it is going 2-0 for White Wolf and 2-0 for Northern Storm. So we've got both lower seeds being bestowed 2-0s by the Holy Coin. So we'll see how that shows up. I'm very sorry if I've just angered the gods by not being Sig. But Yeah, we'll see if that holds up, because that is some very interesting predictions from His Holiness. So moving forward now, I believe it looks like we have one question from the community before we wrap things up in this episode of Let's Talk About the League. And that is, who is the superior dinosaur? Gregosaurus Rex, support for Team Phoenix, or Slackosaurus Rex, who is here right now? Slack, I'm going to let you kick this one off.
Okay. All right. So if you what's the scale here? What's making the superior? How are we rating this?
How about, I mean, who would eat who?
Oh, okay. So we're just talking straight Apex. Okay. Well, I've made this statement multiple times in chat that you know, the Rexes stick together and we're a pack. So I'm not saying this as a scapegoat. I'm saying that neither of us would eat each other. I'm gonna stick firmly by that.
Very Swiss of you. Got any thoughts on this, Spicy?
We all know who wins. Memes always win, so memes it's a superior dinosaur.
All right. I like it. Putting in that third party.
Oof, I don't know if I can get behind that though.
For me,
that's not, a meme isn't an apex predator.
For me, I guess, no offense to you, my friend Slack, but just from your name, Slack, it kind of makes me think maybe you'd be a little bit more of a reserved dinosaur, maybe not as active. So maybe that would cause you to be more the hunted than the hunter. So based on our silly, ridiculous paradigm that we have established for this also sort of silly and ridiculous question, I guess I'll go with Gregosaurus Rex.
Okay. But this has been added. Trufflesaurus has now been added to the mix.
He's not even involved in the LCUS this split.
Yeah, isn't he extinct at the moment?
I am so sorry, Truffle.
The Jurassic period has passed.
Yeah, the Trufflesaurus era has ended. He's now extinct under the floor, and we're now with the Gregosaurus, and Northern here to put him extinct as well.
Ah, yes. How did the dinosaurs die out?
Those are some fighting words.
I like it.
If I've heard anything. Wow.
I like it. Northern Storm coming to bring an ice age to Gregosaurus Rex. All right, folks. Well, that's pretty much going to wrap up this episode of Let's Talk About the League. Also, before we sign off, I'd be remiss to not give a shout out to our Twitch Prime subscribers. As Commissioner Sig so eloquently puts it every week, y'all keep the lights on. So thank you very much for that. Please continue to subscribe and support the LCUS. Any closing remarks, Slack or Spicy?
I'm going to have to say that at one point, either you're going to see an absolute dominance coming out of me and Greg, or we're going to end up finding out who really is the apex predator.
All right, awesome. Any final thoughts, Spicy?
Nope, none whatsoever. I already put my thoughts out there.
All right, I loved all the trash talk. Awesome. Well, that's going to do it for us on this episode of Let's Talk About the League, folks, joined by Spicy and Slackosaurus Rex. Make sure you tune in to the semifinals of the LCUS this Sunday. Until then, I'm Jeff, signing off. Have a great week.